So good morning, good morning. It's Wednesday, October 31st, 2018. You listen to Radio Free Radford, also known as Halloween. So like I said, ran into a Dracula this morning, and a couple of people have been seeing those around as well. We're getting a forecast high of 73 degrees today, lots of sunshine for sure. One of the warmest Halloween will be a nice warm Halloween, not one of the warmest, but it's going to be warmer for sure. Don't get used to this, folks, because we have some rain moving in tomorrow. It's all part of another front moving through, possibly bringing some severe weather to this area. Main concern would be a lot of heavy rain in a short amount of time, and the damaging winds can't be ruled out either. Thanks to instability in the atmosphere. So unfortunately, we could have the possibility of seeing some severe weather tomorrow and Friday for sure. Alrighty, moving on right along to that, we are concluding the month of October up. And those who are tuning in, we appreciate you listening to Radio Free Radford. Follow us on Facebook at Radio Free Radford. Just search us up right there too. On Instagram and Radio Free Radford. And Twitter on Radio Free Raddy. That's Radio Free and then Raddy, RADD. RADDY. You can follow us there for a lot of great content we produce here on the show and also on our website. Starting things off, again, a beautiful day for Halloween for sure. It's going to be one of those mornings where it was foggy, and then we quickly were able to get out of that fog to bring out some sunshine today. If you're planning to do anything off campus with family, if you live around the area along the lines of Montgomery County, Pulaski County, Radford City, along Narrows, areas like that off of 81 and 77, should be looking fine for sure. Now, there will be several activities taking place today along the Radford campus, Muse building. Those RAs will be passing candy out pretty much from 8 to 10 tonight. Heath Hall will have several events going on. They'll have I think it is from 5 to 7:30 or 8. I know they're going to be passing candy out, and you can also go to several things they're going to be doing around here as we start to celebrate Halloween. And then we can move on to November. Or November, as most will say, because normally we're supposed to be cold, but instead we're just going to be starting the month well above average, which is no surprise to as we've been seeing over the past several days for sure, several weeks for sure. Also tomorrow is not only November 1st, but it's also opening mic night. If you have an interest of talking, you can head over to Preston Hall, register on Are You Involved today. This is all the Exit 109 and the Center for Diversity and Inclusion presents this. You can have some poetry, creative work, maybe you can sing a song, satire, maybe, I don't know, throw up in some comedies, pull you up a stool and a microphone, and maybe try to get some jokes going on. If you don't know, maybe, I don't know, I'm not the perfect person for jokes, but, you know, if it was me, I'd have a mic and just say, hey, what's up? There you go. We'll stop it with that. But anyway, that's how that would work out. So, moving on along to that, we are going to continue our days. Obviously, it is Halloween, and it's also National, I know this is a lot of debating about what this word, you can either say National Caramel Day or National Caramel Day. However you choose to say it, you stick with that, because I'm not going to debate about how you say caramel or caramel, or however you want to say it. This is actually started back in the 1970s. Kraft, as you know, the big food company, made it apple pie, and then it introduced wrappers, are also known as their commercials, featuring the Johnny Appleseed, with these caramel apples at home. And then again, that was back in the 1980s, but they actually back in 6500 BC, these were developed as apples, and they were the first trees were the first trees to be cultivated by humans. In fact, experts argue that the origin of the modern day variety of apples were near Turkey. So how about that? That just to show for sure. And then later on, the years progressively on, we start to get the development of apples and the caramel sauce, however you want to say it. So if you're trying to make some, there's some good recipes out there for sure, homemade recipes. I don't have any with me today, but there's something they always say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. This is 5 things to chew while you're thinking about these caramel apples. The colonialist, there you go, in the 1600s, first introduced the North American to the apples we eat today, and most do. Alrighty, that is the jets flying across our Radford campus. This is they always have these air jets flying across the campus about on a daily basis. So if you're curious what that sound is, no, we're not. We're all right. They're just taking advantage of the nice blue sky for sure. But anyway, moving on to another unrelated note. Halloween, as we all know, is the best holiday in October, especially for young kids. If you like trick-or-treating and dressing up, there is a lot of statistics out there. People planning on putting costumes on. So believe it or not, 42%. If the 12 people that surveyed dressing up as a superhero, there's a strong likelihood that your friends would also categorize you as the sporty type. Now, 44%, if your costume takes its cue from something in popular culture, such as a group of musicians or a band of something of that nature, there's a 44% chance you're the party animal with your group of friends. 24% say planning on donning a costume to look like a historical figure. There's nearly 1 in 4 chances that you're a bookworm. 20% say there's a break in the mold by creating your own costumes, basically saying a 1 in 5 chance that the therapist type and your friends. And let's see what this one is. 19% of planning to dress up as a nurse, firefighter, or police officer. According to that survey, you are the one who's too serious in your social circle. So, it's okay to have a little fun, but, have your serious manner too, and trying to open up a little bit, as they say, and such of that nature for sure. All right, enough of Halloween and why we celebrated and stuff. We've been focusing too much on that this morning, but it's a day to talk about. And obviously tomorrow, the All Saints Day, will be celebrating tomorrow and Friday, with that being said. And so there you go. Alrighty, moving on to some inspiration this morning. If you're listening and saying, Dustin, when are you going to get some inspiration? Well, I have you for it. Thank you for listening, by the way. Head over to Radio Free Radford on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We could appreciate your support. So this one's by Oliver Weldon Holmes, and he's quoted that great things in the world is not so much where you stand as in what direction you are moving. So trying to take that into consideration today. Again, the great things in this world is not so much where you stand as in direction you are moving. So think about that today, and we'll have I don't know. It's kind of interesting to see for sure, and it's always interesting to see what these not only the famous people, but some of the celebrities too always have their creativity. Also, just a reminder, this is about the leaves. I know a lot of folks have been watching this now are finally in peak season for us. We're about slight to a moderate peak now, and that's good news because that gives the area the chance to see that beautiful foliage. And also reminds me to tell you, if you're driving on the roads, this is something I saw earlier in the week, your stopping distance. When wet leaves are on the road, when you get a nice rain, which we'll have tomorrow, and we all know you're going down one of the countryside roads or even some of the city roads for sure, you always want to leave your stopping distance about 433 feet. Now, with just a typical dry day in the fall, give yourself 387 feet. So, if that's about right, I'm going to take a guess. It's a difference of roughly, let's calculate that. 433, 387. If you remember that number, folks, just subtract that and tweet us and let us know what you get on that one. And Facebook it. I'm going to do it right now. And so anyway, that's the way the plate rolls this morning. That's the wrong number. 433 minus 387. That is a difference of 46 feet right there. So how about that? That just goes to show you kind of be careful while you're driving and stopping on the roadways. And next week is Election Day. That's also on Tuesday, November 6th. If you're trying to register, where do I need to go? When do I need to go? Obviously, November 6th, next Tuesday, the Radford Recreation Center, just right here next to the Bonnie. The polls open at 6 a.m. and close at 7. We are one of the earliest states in the United States that closes polls at 7 o'clock, believe it or not. as Senator Tim Kaine and Corey Stewart, are going to be competing in the federal Senate, and the House of Representative candidates from the 9th District are Margaret Griffin, who's the Republican, and Anthony Flaccavento, who's the Democrat. You can vote. You have your choice of options there. Obviously, presidential elections are every 4 years. These election races for the delegates and the Congress representatives, House representation are every 6 so years, so they kind of alternate in a way for that. So if you get out there, get your voice heard. As yesterday, Anthony Flaccavento and Tim Kaine both were here yesterday. I had the privilege of meeting both of them and going to a little bit of a campaign kind of persuasion of telling you why you need to get out there and vote. And he asked, some of the audience asked several questions about some events that were going in the political news, and that we're not going to dive into that this morning. So anyway, well, we hope you enjoyed listening on to the show today. Tomorrow, folks, we have I am honored having a very, very excited, very a close person I know for sure who is in politics and used to be in the TV business. I'm not going to tell you his name. You probably will recognize the voice for sure. And if you watched, well, we'll talk about that tomorrow. But anyway, I'm just so honored and privileged to have this gentleman here with me tomorrow. You are going to enjoy it. We're going to be on a little bit longer like we normally do. Instead of our 15 minutes, we'll be on for 30 minutes tomorrow. So, very excited about that. Friday, we're going to take a break from guests. And next Tuesday, also it's election day, we're also going to recap our comic, the ones who did the novel, the comic book series, I think. We're going to have an update from them as they've been working on 2 more pages they've added on to the collection. We'll talk about them coming up on Tuesday. Monday, we're going to try to have somebody from the Democratic youth area here and from Radford on. You're going to talk about election, why it's important to get your vote on, why it matters, because your voice matters, and as it is heard for sure. And like we said, tomorrow's guest, you're going to really enjoy this one for sure. Again, went from the TV business out into politics for sure, and a lot of great things happening here in the New River Valley and across Southwest and Central Virginia for sure. Alrighty, folks, this is my time with you today. Make it a great Halloween, and we'll see you back here tomorrow as we start November 1st, 2018.